I bought into the conventional way of doing things where you're shoving positions and forcing movements into your swing, and it just doesn't work. As you guys probably have already figured out, what you need is some feel that you can press hard on and it will deliver for you. And what that feel is feeling more of the lead side pathway. The greatest ball strikers, there tended to be a lopsided number of them that had dominance in their lead arm. You look at guys like Ben Hogan, who many consider the greatest ball striker of all time. He started off as a left-hander. Nick Price also started off as a left-hander. Johnny Miller was a lefty, swung from the right side. All these guys were lefties who swung from the right side. Some of the best ball strikers of all time. And those three guys. You also have Curtis Strange, Jordan Spieth, Henrik Stenson, Sergio Garcia. You also look at the lefties. There have been 5 lefties who have won majors. There's Bob Charles, Mike Weir, Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson, and Brian Harmon. Out of those 5, 4 of them are dominant in their lead arm. Only 2% of the general population has dominance in their lead arm. Why are we seeing so many of these great golfers have dominance in their lead arms? It's because feeling more of the lead side pathway is it's the key to the swing. When you see guys coming over the top or the club getting stuck, all these common flaws in the golf swing are really just a matter of the back arm overexerting, wanting to flip. And so these guys who had dominance in their lead arms, they were less likely to do this flipping action. And so more of them made it through the levels and made it to the top. The thing is there's a way to ingrain the key feel. All we have to do is feel more of the lead side working in the swing. And so there's a progression that I've developed that allows you to work on this. And so what you want to do is get a small club. I sell small clubs on my website, theswingmechanic.com, or you can go and just purchase a club at a thrift shop and cut it down and put a new grip on it. Just start from a still position, and I'm just taking swings. Notice the club naturally goes to the outside, right? All these positions naturally want to happen when you're swinging with just the lead arm. I could never get the club coming to the outside when I was more back arm dominant. I was always going to the inside. Well, when you swing with just your lead arm, it wants to do this. Go ahead and let the club lag as you start back. Feel like you're kind of going to slap the ball with your lead arm. That's what that outside move is. You see a lot of these great ball strikers, they have that kind of outside move. And I always wondered what that was about. Well, it makes sense when you look at it in terms of just swinging with the lead arm or feeling more of the lead side pathway, because it gives you kind of that slap action with the lead arm. Notice the club is just dropping nice on a flat plane naturally. Now, this is the feel that I really want to point out. When you are swinging with just your lead arm, what you'll feel is, notice my wrist is in this sort of bowed position. So often conventional instruction is trying to force these kind of positions that they see on video of the greatest hitters. It's just something you want to do with more of a lead side dominated swing. Grab the club and kind of give resistance, like you're almost try to pull with your lead side as you're not letting the club move with your back arm, right? Because I want you to feel what this feels like. It's a completely different way of approaching the ball. The bowed position of the lead wrist is pulling on the club. This is different than what you feel with more of a back arm, backside dominated swing where you're more out like this. This is why the club gets stuck, because the back arm wants to push out and the club is still hanging back. The club head is still hanging back. So it's much different than what you get with the lead arm. It's more of this pull action where you want to bow the wrist. It's just something you want to do, feeling more of the lead side. Now I'm going to pick up the other lead arm training club for my other side. I want you guys to swing with both sides. This idea in golf instruction where, in conventional instruction, they're not telling you to swing from both sides. They're not being prudent as far as your health is concerned. It's not healthy to always be swinging from one side. Now I'm going to hover my back arm. Now we're going to start teaching the back arm how it needs to move if it's going to follow this new structure of the swing. So I'm hovering the back arm so it doesn't touch the handle, and I'm going through the entire swing from start to finish with my back arm hovering. And I'm slowly moving my hand closer and closer to the club as I go. Now I'm just barely touching it. So I'm just teaching the back arm what it needs to do if it's going to basically acquiesce to what the lead arm would do all on its own. Now switch to the other side and do the same thing. We're going to hover the back hand over the handle. Teaching the back arm how it needs to move. Slowly moving it closer until I'm touching but just barely touching the club. And now the hand is on it, but it's still very loose. Very loose. And I'm just slowly adding the grip until I'm gripping it normally. Maintaining the structure that I started with when swinging with just the lead arm. Now here's the back arm trainer. If you want to get one you can get it at theswingmechanic.com. If you just want to cut down your own broomstick, that will work too. What I want to do is, again, teach the back arm how it needs to move through contact, which is I want to release the handle before my forearm wants to turn over. And I'll explain what I mean. Notice that first of all, I'm keeping the wrist real loose, and I'm just allowing it to release, and then I'm allowing the forearm to rotate over. And I'll show you what the bad move is, what flipping is, what a bad back arm wants to do through the hit in a second. This is the bad move. You go here, and then the forearm, notice the forearm wants to rotate, but my wrist hasn't released yet. It's okay for the forearm to rotate, but once the wrist has started releasing. If the forearm rotates before the wrist starts releasing, that is what causes a flip. That's what a real coordinated back arm wants to do. That's what it thinks is the right thing to do through contact, but it's not. So you need to retrain the back arm. That's the bad move right there, right there. See the difference there? That right there. I'm rotating the forearm before I've allowed the back arm trainer to release. Allow it to release and then rotate the forearm. Like this. Release, allow it to release, and then rotate the forearm over. That's the move right there. And again, the whole time I'm just keeping my wrist nice and loose. Now I'm going to the other side. Always working the other side. And now we're going to finish off with a game you can play that works on having more lead side. Grab a yoga block. So I use just a regular yoga block, and then what I do is I put one of these brush tees in it. I mean, I suppose you could use a regular tee too, but I like the brush tees because they don't ruin the yoga block so quickly. And I just put that in it, just like that. And then put a, you could use a real ball, or I just use these wiffle balls because I like to just go, sometimes I don't always like to go to the golf course, right? So grab a lead arm training club and hit balls. What the yoga block does is it puts the ball up in a higher position so that you can swing a smaller club. Why do I want a smaller club? Because it gives you more of a realistic feel of weight that you're going to have swinging a regular size club with two hands. You're only swinging with the lead arm. We don't want to have a ton of weight because then we're going to be moving a lot slower through the swing. We want to try to figure out a realistic cadence that we're actually going to use in a regular swing. So I'm just doing the same sort of swings there, but I'm actually hitting a ball. You can get the lead arm training club at theswingmechanic.com. This is the quickest way to restructure your swing, to rewire your swing, to hit the ball the way really the best ball strikers do. Giving him that nice baby draw. The only way to have that baby draw is if your back arm behaves, if it's not overexerting. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps. Check out theswingmechanic.com for my book, How to Swing a Golf Club, and the lead arm training clubs. I'll see you next time.